Hey guys, it's Drew again. I wanted to continue my series on friends within the hobby that I've met and become very close to over the years by telling a few short stories about a very good friend of mine named Jared. Let's check him out. So the friend I want to talk about, his name is Jared, and he actually lives about 40 minutes from where I live. He's a guy that I met, I don't know, probably about 8 or 10 years ago through another friend, and who I want to have on at some point. And one of the things about Jared was when we got together way back when, is he was a big autograph collector, but an in-person autograph collector. He went to nationals and shows, and he would meet these players, and he made these amazing display pieces or different unique ways to for autographs, not just on a card or a picture or something like that. So when he comes, I want him to share a couple of those stories. But some of the things that he and I have experienced together was just the other night, I was able to go to a baseball game with him. And we went down and we to Atlanta and we saw the Braves play. He's a huge Braves fan. In fact, he has his own YouTube channel called Average Braves Fan, and he's got a lot going on in his life. He and his wife are moving right now, so he's not posting a ton of stuff, but he's got season tickets, and we go down to the game, and we went to a few games last year. In fact, last year, because he is a season ticket holder, we got to go and do a little parade around the outfield perimeter of the stadium, and that's where I was able to get some dirt. And so I added some Truist Park Braves dirt to my dirt collection. If you don't know about my dirt collection, go way back. One of the very first videos I did talks about my dirty little secret, and so go check that out. But some of the cool things about Jared is he's very much like me, where he gets in his mind these ideas of, oh, you know what would be really cool is if I could take this, and except he did it with autographs, and I'll let him share at some point some of the things he's done before. But he gets these sort of display and thought processes of just different things, and he knew that I was a big fan of the Brooklyn Dodgers and the history of the Dodgers. And one point, I don't know, probably 4 years ago, I don't even remember how long ago, he called me and he's like, hey, he said, tell me if you had to pick your favorite Dodgers from the Brooklyn Dodgers, who would it be? And he already knew of Pee Wee Reese, and he knew of Carl Erskine, but he wanted to know a couple more. So I thought, well, I don't know. So I kind of went through and I said, um, probably Campy. You know, Campanella has great stories, and I don't talk about him much. I have a few of his cards, but it just fit within that whole team dynamic. And of course, had his career that he did. And I said, why? And he said, don't worry about it. And so a while later, when I saw him, he gives me something. And he decided what he was going to do is he wanted to start painting baseballs. And actually, he gave me a baseball, which is up behind my shoulder almost every video. So I want to show it off and kind of talk about it for a minute. And that's this one. So this was the first one he gave me. And as you can see, what he did was he put on the number 1 for Pee Wee Reese. Um, in gray, he put 17 for Carl Erskine. He put number 39 for Campanella. And then he added Jackie Robinson, number 42. And he also painted on the logo for baseball. And the cool thing was the Brooklyn Bee. And that's all hand painted. And it's just such a cool piece, and the fact that he thought of me to do that and just gave it to me, it was like, I thought you'd appreciate that. So if you watch my videos often, you can kind of look, and a little secret that some of you guys may know or not know about this background back here. You'll see this baseball up here, almost every one, maybe not always in the same place, and maybe not always in the same orientation. And while I'm talking about it, that also may get you looking back here. And this is another thing that he gave me for Christmas one year. Was this. And of course, I'm a big Griffey fan. And he was so excited. He came over. I remember it was on Christmas Day, and he came over, and he was visiting his parents, which live in the same town as me. And he was so excited. And he comes over and he sets this whole thing up. And he's like, okay, you can look. And he shows me. And yeah, so this is the Griffey baseballs, and he took. Um, and hand painted a different letter on each one. But also, what he did is on the back, if you flip them, and I'll do this as quick as I can, there's a different letter all the way across. And what it spells is the kid. And of course, number 24 for his number. And in between, he painted the Swingman logo, which was so cool. So I just want to talk about a couple of funny stories with Jared because he's just such a good guy. He's so giving, and you know, we have so much in common outside of our collecting and baseball and stuff, but we just have a good time talking. And he's the guy that for years he said, Drew, we got to do a podcast, and you know, we never have. In fact, almost every time we get together, he talks about we got to do a podcast, but you know, timing and getting him to actually commit to a time, not so easy. But anyway, so. One of the funny stories was the other night we went to the Braves game, and we went to 3 games last year together and won the other night. And he said, we've got this thing where because he goes down to the park all the time, he knows it, all the nooks and crannies and the little ins and outs of everything. And all 3 games last year, he's like, oh, I've got this great place we can go and get something to eat before the game. All 3 times we end up going, and for whatever reason, completely different reasons, we can't get in, we end up not eating there, and we end up like just grabbing a hot dog or something, which was cool with me. But he was always so disappointed because he wanted to show off like, oh, there's this one place that has this great whatever, and I love this whatever. And the time was too long. I think it was closed for some reason for a special event. I don't really remember all the reasons, but it was kind of funny. So the other night we're headed down. And he's like, hey, I thought, you know, let's eat before the game. And so I was like, yeah, whatever. He's like, well, do you like Chipotle? And I was like, yeah, Chipotle's fine. He goes, oh, I love Chipotle. He's like, it's a great place. I almost never get to go. There's one right across the stadium, right across from the parking deck where we're going to park, and we can go there. I was like, cool. So, you know, we're chatting, and we get down to Atlanta, and we get right outside, and we pull up into Chipotle, and this was the 5th, Cinco de Mayo, Chipotle, and there's a big sign, temporarily closed. And he's so disappointed, like, what? I can't believe it. It's our tradition, you know? We never will eat in a place that you want to go to. So it's just stupid and fun and whatever, but we had a good time. And when we went to the game, actually met up with Jake from Legends Never Die. He and his wife were down for a trip for Jake's birthday that just happened a few weeks ago. And Jake, again, a huge Braves fan, so we met up. And Jared and Jake met through me. And in fact, if you've ever gone back or know anything about why I'm called the Drew, with this huge part of my collection that I had sold off to Jake, the day that I had sold it to Jake, and Jake was here at my house and sitting in this room going through the cards and we were doing the deal, Jared was here too. And it was the day that Jared and Jake met, and they've become really good friends. We have this text thread that goes on, and it's just a lot of fun. But Jared's a great guy, and we have had some history. We've gone through stresses of life that we could share with each other, and that's the point of this whole thing. It's the community, not just of getting to know people with like-mindedness, card collecting or baseball or whatever. It's more about just getting to know the people as people, and the fact that Jared will take the time to paint baseballs like this for me, knowing personally this is exactly what Drew would like, and he's done that for others. Knowing that you know, he's like, hey, you want to go to a game, and we just go and hang out and have a good time. You know, there's been many a times he's come to my house. We've watched home run derbies or World Series games or whatever we can do. There's times where our families get together, and you know, our wives get along very well, and our kids. His kids are much younger than mine, but my girls love his little kids, and we've gone just hanging out as families and doing life together, and that's really what this friendship is about, and so many of other friendships. And that's what I want this little series to be about, is just sharing these friendships and sharing the stories. And I'm definitely going to have Jared on here, so keep an eye out for him. And he's got some great stories and some absolutely insane pieces that I would love to have him show off. So anyway, I appreciate you coming along, listening to these dumb little stories, and just recollecting it all. So until next time, you guys be good.